G'day everyone, thought I'd give you a little rundown on what's happened with the BF135 over the last 5 months. Floated on the back of my Fruza F18 side console. So we got it delivered with a 17 pitch prop, and it was wasn't quite getting 6,000 RPM. So on the advice of Honda, lifted the motor up and down a little bit until we got it running sweet. Main thing was to get the cavitation plate, the water running just under it. If it's too deep, the water's up here, you've buried your motor and it's too much drag right across all the rev range. So did that by lifting the motor up and down, took the cover off, there's a couple of lifting eyes on top, put the forklift on it, took the weight, loosened off the bolts, took the lock nuts off first, loosened the bottom one right off, then the top one, and took the top bolt right out. And then the bottom one you just leave with the nut backed off to about here so it's loose, and it'll slide up and down on that slot. And then just lined up the bolts through from the back and did them all up and tested it. So we tested it on each hole and did the revs and the litres per hour from 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 all the way up. We did that on each hole, all three of those. And they suggested we put a 16 pitch or 16R prop on, which is what we've got now. So did the same thing again with the 16 prop as we did with the 17, up and down on the holes, checked all the speeds every 1,000 RPM, and worked out in the end being no slower at all with a smaller prop, but we got closer to 6,000. It's now at about 5,980, which is within spec, and we're on the second hole from the bottom. So now with just me on it, we're getting 28.5 knots at 22.5 litres per hour. Bump it up to 3 big guys or 3 people and all their gear and ice and tackle and all that. 28 knots jumps up to 25 litres an hour on the fuel, but that's a reasonable loading for my boat. So that's pretty much spot on the money now. Really happy with that. As I said, 70 hours. When it gets to 100 hours, I expect the fuel economy to get a bit better, which is pretty typical with a Honda. 100 hours sees about a 1 to 1.5 litre per hour decrease in fuel consumption. Pretty awesome amount of horsepower as well. 115's a really good motor. 135's just that little bit extra, which is good. Definitely helps having the zip wax on there. Zip wax are a bit of a game changer, and they help your plane quicker, less work for the motor, just spit straight up on the plane. So a couple other things that I keep an eye on is every third trip I'll whip the cowling off and wash the whole power head down. Sucks quite a bit of moist air in through the back here, especially on a rough day. Gets all the spray in there and that. The power head gets a bit of salt on it, so I'll take the cowling off every third trip and give it a really good wash with some salt spray cleaner and just the garden hose with the shower attachment on it, so not a forcible amount of water, just a nice gentle spray. Keep everything greased, get a good grease gun and give the nipples a bit of a grease every trip pretty much. Bit of CRC here and there doesn't help either. So yeah, that's her. Really happy with how it's going. Really good fuel economy. Nice and quiet as to be expected. Yeah, so any questions, answer them below and I'll do my best to answer them. And if you need any help, if you think your boat's not right, definitely ask a question below and help you out where I can. And yeah, getting it set up is critical, I reckon. It's the first time I've done it. It won't be the last. I'll definitely be doing this to every boat I got. Right prop, right hole, everything's awesome. Right, thanks for watching. Cheers.